Milk Day is observed annually on June 1 as a reminder of milk's nutritional prowess and its indispensable role in diets worldwide. As Nigeria joined the rest of the world to commemorate this year's World Milk Day, the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry has called on government to implement supportive policies that fortify the dairy industry. The president of the chamber, Emeka Obekolu, advocated for measures aimed at enhancing access to quality feed and veterinary services while emphasizing the transformative potential of public-private partnerships.
In Nigeria, the dairy industry holds immense potential not only for elevating nutritional standards, but also for driving economic prosperity. From resilient smallholder dairy farmers to dedicated processing and distribution stakeholders, millions of Nigerians are intricately involved in this sector, rendering it a cornerstone of our economy. However, as we acknowledge the immense promise of the dairy industry, we must confront the challenges hindering its progress. Inadequate infrastructure, limited access to financing, and fluctuating market conditions present significant hurdles that necessitate our collective attention. It is imperative for us as stakeholders to collaboratively forge an enabling environment conducive to sustainable growth and development. To this end, the Abuja Chamber of Commerce, through the Policy and Advocacy Center, remains steadfast in advocating for policies that fortify the dairy industry. We urge the government to implement supportive measures aimed at enhancing access to quality feed, veterinary services, and modern farming technologies. Additionally, investment in research and development is paramount to driving innovation and sustainability within the sector.
Also, the Vice President of Agriculture of the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, represented by Olushola Adeshiba, highlighted other challenges bedeviling the Nigeria's dairy sector. He proposed a multifaceted approach, including prioritizing investments in research and development to address the challenges.
To address these challenges and unlock the true potential of the industry, first and foremost, we will prioritize investments, both private and public investment, focusing on the breeds of animals, formulation for feed, disease control measures, and even consistent production mechanisms that can ensure that at all times milk is available. Secondly, is to strengthen the current infrastructure for ensuring efficient cold chain systems, because for us to be able to move milk from one location to the other, cold chain systems are very, very important.
The representative of the mandate, Secretary of Health Services and Environment Secretariat, Dr. Ramatu Mode, emphasized the adoption of modern-day farming activities in the dairy industry to enhance productivity.
Introduction of modern-day dairy farming techniques, equipment, and technologies can enhance productivity and efficiency, leading to higher income. Then, investing in the milk industry also will enable the production of a variety of value-added products such as cheese, yogurt, and butter. Then export potential. Investment in the dairy products will enable Nigeria to be exporting the milk and also the products gotten from milk.
The Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria raised concerns about the impact of climate change on their livestock breeding activities.
The effects of climate change poses a threat to the availability of grazing lands and water resources, which are essential for the cattle. It is essential that we address those challenges head-on through collaboration efforts. I call on the government, private sector, and international partners to invest in modernizing our dairy farming techniques, improving supply chain logistics, and providing financial support to our farmers.
This year's theme, the vital role dairy plays in delivering quality nutrition to nourish the world, highlighted the dairy sector's significance and need for concerted action to address challenges and unlock its full potential.
Welcome once again, Dr. Alex. It's good to have you in the studio today. It's been 2 whole years. I've not seen you.
Yeah. I'm delighted to be here. And
well, I'm very happy to have you. Okay, so according to the statistics, I discovered that we have about 41.7% of people who do not engage in physical activity. And it definitely impacts on the overall health. But before we now go to the percentage of people who do and who do not, let's talk about the basics. What should we believe to be physical activity?
Okay, thank you very much, Olamide. And like I said, I'm delighted to be here today, and I hope to be here more.
Of course.
Physical activity, it's like what we are created to do. You know, as humans, we are we're mammals, and then we are Homo erectus. You know, people who stand erect, just like the chimpanzees, the gorillas. People who stand erect, and then we are supposed to be moving. Okay, we are not meant to sit in, even our frame, the way we are built, you know, with our spine, the vertebral column, it's straight, and then the legs, how powerful our lower limbs are, how powerful the muscles of the thigh are. We are meant for movement. Okay, think of it, why are our lower limbs more powerful than the upper limbs? So we are not meant for so much of lifting, carrying things.
Okay.
But our lower limbs are very powerful because we are meant to move, you know. So when you watch the footballers that play a lot, you see their thigh muscles are very thick, their gastrocs are very thick because of the exercise they do. They are into that motion a lot. So this is what we're meant to do, movement. Movement that exercise the whole body.
Yes.
Okay, because I can sit in one place and maybe I'm dangling my lower limbs, so I'm moving the lower limbs, but nothing is happening to my upper limbs and other muscles in the body. But there are exercises that we call cardio that involve the whole body, so that, as for example, you are swimming, the whole body is moving. For example, you are cycling, the whole body is moving.
Yes.
You know, so even unconsciously, you just discover that you're exercising the whole body. Okay, so that is what we're meant to do generally. We are now deviating from our natural frame, our natural build, by all the sedentary lifestyle
that we
have.
now live.
So that the percentage you are even giving of those who do not engage in physical activity, even those that engage in physical activity
may not really be engaging.
That a lot of them are not doing it enough. And it's getting worse in our part of the world. In Africa, in Nigeria, it's even getting worse because we feel that it is affluence, it is enjoyment to now not move, to just sit down in a place, use the car always, use keke napep, use Okada, wherever you want to go, no matter how close it is, you want to, you know. But the experts describe 150 minutes in a week as a good physical activity.
Oh, just 150.
That's the minimum, which means if you do 30 minutes in a day, in 5 days you've done 150 minutes. So if every day you do something that makes you sweat, you know, for 30 minutes today, tomorrow you do it. From Monday to Friday, you've done 150 minutes. You know, and that is good enough for the body. You're not a footballer, you're not a basketballer, your basics. If you do 150 minutes of a sweating exercise that moves your body, that moves your muscles, it gives you a good life, you know. But unfortunately, we are too busy to even do 30 minutes.
Exactly, because sometimes some of our jobs even demand that you sit down all day. Some persons, for example, as a journalist now, you probably sit in the studio to talk, and then before you start talking, you probably need to do some reading. You're sitting down, you're doing everything sitting down. So how do we begin to handle things like this?
Yeah, it's very important that you're bringing this point, because I talked about how we are built to be erect, but now we're doing more of sitting down. Now, you hear people talk about low back pain a lot.
Yes.
Low back pain, and it comes from this kind of lifestyle. You are sitting down, especially in seats that are very low, and the lower back that is not meant to carry the load, to carry all this load, is what is now carrying the load. Weight is coming from here, the load is supposed to be transmitted to the lower limbs that are strong enough to carry it, but we just sit all the time and the load is down there. The cushion in between all our vertebral bones, what we call the intervertebral discs, are being stretched, and sometimes they tear, and we have what we call disc prolapse.
Wow.
And people, now, you can't even when you now want to exercise, you
Dr.
can't
Alex,
even exercise
this thing that I used to know to the enjoyment, now you're making it Okay.
Yeah, we are not meant to be sitting down. For example, you are in the office, you sit down, you do at least or maximum of 1 hour, you should stand up and move around. You can still be carrying your laptop. You have some laptop stands now that that are flexible. You can make it stand. So you can stand, you can take a stroll while you're still working. Do it for like 1 hour again and then go back and sit down so that you don't just sit for too long. The body will complain eventually.
So we've heard that there are lots of health challenges that can stem from having to, be in one position or be too relaxed, but not being engaged in physical activity. What are some of those ones?
Okay, thank you. You see, when we eat food, and majorly in our part of the world, a lot of our food is carbohydrates. Most of the things we eat end up as sugar in our body and then stored as fats a lot in our body. So we are now supposed to burn the calories, burn out the fat, burn out the sugar, to have a balanced life. Now, so when we consume, of course, we get hungry and we must eat. When we consume and we're not burning equal to what we consume or close to what we consume, then we have the excesses deposited here and there. When they are being deposited, they're not just being deposited. You see somebody say, I'm fat. You think the fat is just about being deposited in your limbs or in the lower abdomen, where you see some people have the belly fat and all that. No, they're also being deposited in vital organs. The liver can get fatty.
Wow.
The kidneys can get fatty. There can be fat around the coverings of the heart. There can be fat around the neck to affect even breathing.
And that looks very risky. So,
yeah.
Or should I say, because I'm imagining it, so that's why I had to say looks. It's not like you're showing me, but I'm beginning to think that looks very risky, because
some people
you will find people looking so healthy, but they are truly not healthy.
A lot going on underneath. Some people will tell you when they come to the clinics how to sleep at night is a struggle. How sometimes the breath ceases. People have what we call sleep apnea. The breath ceases. Now, the sedentary life, the non-exercising life, is dangerous however you look at it. So you are prone to lifestyle diseases, hypertension, diabetes mellitus, all types of life, dyslipidemia, the issues with fat, the high cholesterol, high triglycerides in the body, all these issues with fats, you are prone to all of them. Even cancers, even issues with fertility.
Fertility.
Obesity can affect fertility, because a lot of things.
Because I was going to say, what's the relationship?
A lot of things can come with it, because we know we have those people who naturally have the tendency to be obese. They do a lot of, they probably work out more than I do a lot of things more than I do, but then there is a genetic tone to some of them. But these people, with experts, can tell them how to do it, what to do, combine diet and exercise, how much exercise they are needed. For such people, the 150 minutes in a week might not be their own, and even the type of the exercising you do can be advised. So there can be the natural tone to it, but generally it doesn't help when, and it's not just about being big. You can see people who are big, but much of it is lean fat, lean muscles that don't have enough fat. They could be big, but it's not dangerous. You see somebody who is slim, and you think this person is good,
very healthy.
Yeah, but the person might not be healthy.
Oh
the muscles may not be exercising. The person might be living a sedentary life. It's just that the person is not as big as other people. And the person thinks I'm healthy. No, the person might be living a sedentary life that can predispose them to some of the metabolic conditions that are not good for our body. So it is essential that we look at these things, especially those who work 9 to 5 every day, no time to even think of it.
Exactly.
And check it.
Some people even start from 7 a.m.
People start working at age maybe 18, or maybe you're going to school, so maybe you are starting at 23 or 24 or 25. And their retirement age is 60, 65, 70, maybe.
And these days, they're even agitating for let the older people stay longer.
So you are so busy trying to meet up with things till you are old. When you're old, it's even too late to want to come and start a lifestyle modification that will give you good health. So it is good that even within the period we are doing this work, somebody should, like you people are doing now with your program, somebody should be ringing it in our ears. How much have you done today? And I like, some people have this wristwatch that helps them count how many steps they are taking in a day. And all those things are very important, so that you don't just chase life and lose the life eventually.
That's true.
Attempts to get all you know.
That's something about you. You always drop a punchline for us to take note of. Chase life and lose life. All right. So because you mentioned it could lead to infertility.
Yeah.
You know, I remember that I met a woman at some point that resigned from her job, and I was like, what happened? She was like, oh, I had to resign because I need to stay back at home and relax so that I can have a baby and all of that. Work stress is not letting that happen. So what about that situation where she has to even quit whatever it is that can even get her involved in any sort of activity because she wants to stay back and try for a baby?
Okay, don't make the mistake of thinking that when you're working and your work involves a lot of stress, it amounts to exercising.
Oh.
Now, stress and exercise are two different things.
Please help us understand the difference.
Two people can be doing the same amount of physical activity. For one person, it is exercise. For the other person, it's stress. Oh. Stress is a danger anytime you look at it, you know. So exercise is supposed to relax you, relax your mind, you know, release dopamine, you know, that will help the brain function well. And the brain controls the body, you know, the mind controls. So your mind is supposed to be at peace. That's what exercise gives you, you know. So, but if it is stress at work, you are made to do a lot that people are looking for to do as exercise, but you're doing a lot and it's affecting your mind negatively. You are seeing it as stress. It does the opposite of what exercise does. Oh. It can even affect the fertility the woman is trying to get, you know, because it is stress, you know. So the body is reacting differently because stress is actually how our body reacts to the stressors. So the body is reacting negatively. But for exercise, the body is reacting positively because you feel that you are relaxing. So for those who go to work and you ask them about exercise, they say, my work is enough exercise. Your work may not be enough exercise.
So that means it's likely a thing of the mind?
Yes. Okay. It's the thing of the mind. But stress is stress. Sometimes your mind wants to see stress as not stress, but stress can be stress. So you need to plan relaxation into your schedule. And going to those who go to the gym or going to sports, and I'm going to come to a point where we want to help the future generation prevent this sedentary lifestyle.
Yes.
You know, now going to do some sports, there is nothing like that. That one is even better than going to the gym. If you have a sport you love, and you go to it, anticipating it alone is already releasing the dopamine we're talking about. So you're already relaxing from knowing that on Saturday I'm going to the stadium, I'm going to play with my guys, you know. So that woman may be right if it's really stressing her at work to go home, to relax, to have other things that will relax her mind. She will do her physical activities if she knows well about what to do, you know. And you never can tell, it might get her the results she was looking for. I had a colleague at work who was always at this particular function, and she was losing her babies.
Wow.
She will get pregnant and she will lose the baby. And she kept telling us, this particular assignment is making me lose my babies. And everybody's like, everybody does this assignment. Why are you complaining like this? She kept saying it. And eventually she was taken out of that assignment and posted somewhere else, and she had her baby.
Oh my God.
So what are you going to say? That assignment was stressing her. You know, so stress in itself is not exercise. At your work, you may be climbing staircase 10 times, coming down and all that. If your mind is reading it as stress, it's not exercise.
Oh my God. See, I just had to ask that question because I know oftentimes some parents even had to subject their children to some things like that in order to get them to, you know, shed weight. I've seen parents that will tell some children, walk from here to here every day. And it now means that if those children do not find it exciting enough to see it as, you know, an exercise, they may just as well be wasting their time.
Yeah, so that takes me to the point I was saying I was going to come to that, what parents can do to the children. So I, for example, have lived a life of exercise, you know, since I was 10.
I wouldn't doubt that because you're just like this 2 years ago and now you're back here looking the same.
Yeah, I have, at a point in medical school, when we were studying physiology and all that, that the normal pulse of an individual should be 60 to 100. The pulse, you know, this pulse we feel. And mine was always 40-something. I was worried. I felt I had a heart condition. I kept disturbing myself until I got to a point where I studied and realized that I had the athlete's pulse.
Oh.
For those who exercise vigorously a lot, their pulse tends to be fewer. More powerful, but fewer. So the heart beats, boom, and it goes round. Boom. Oh. Unlike bum, 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 like something.
That. I'll go and check my pulse.
You know, so because I started exercising, and I didn't start like exercise, let me go to exercise gym. I started sports. at 10. My 10th birthday, we had these neighbors who were white, Germans, and they gave me a gift of 2 badminton
I thought as much.
rackets,
I wanted to say badminton.
2 badminton rackets and shuttles. And I started playing badminton from that age. And then I got to volleyball and I got to football. So I was always looking at where are they playing?
Oh.
Who is playing? Let me go and play. Always. In school, I could be out of lecture because I'm playing somewhere. Yeah.
Okay.
It was that crazy. I had exams coming and I went to represent the university in National Medical Student Games in Port Harcourt. And people were like, you will fail, oh, you will fail. Oh. But if I'm not there, my mind will not be at rest. I need to be there so that I can even read eventually. You know, so what I want parents to do with their children so that they don't come to our age and doctors will be telling them, you need to shed weight now. You need to do this, and it becomes a struggle. Because stress can also make people gain weight. So it's stressing your mind that you want to lose weight and it's not working. It can even make you gain more weight. So to prevent our children from getting to that point, as children, get them to love some sports. If they love it, then you don't need to do any work again. By themselves, they want to do it. By themselves, they want to exercise, and they will live a life of exercise. Look at the footballers now. Can't you see how they look?
Looking very fit.
Can't you see how J.J. Okocha looks, even after how many years of playing football? You know, because that is his life. That is, they started it as children and they love it and they continue. Look at the Roger Federers of this world, the Serena Williams of this world. These people started as children, and they can't, if they are passing by a tennis court, they just want to enter and go and play. So get the children to love a particular sport from childhood. You know, unfortunately, most of the schools our children go to now, beautiful buildings painted in different colors, no playgrounds, no place for the children to run. Children are supposed to run from downstairs to upstairs, run everywhere around, but the building is just like this. Beautiful classrooms, speaking quaint English and all that. But what children are supposed to do, it's not happening. These children are going to learn all these books eventually, but they may miss out on exercising if they don't start the way they should start. So I advise parents, one thing to look out for when you're putting your children in school is, where is the space? Where is the play space? What are the sport activities they have? The secondary school I attended was a government secondary school. They had basketball, football, handball, volleyball, everything available. So break time, everybody you just sort yourselves out, choose the one you love. Break time, everything is happening. People are playing. Immediately after break, we come back. And then you discover that this has become your life.
You know, I'm just overwhelmed because most of the time we just see the little things we do as the supposed exercise, but whereas we're not even doing anything. I'm thinking, and it's beginning to bring my mind to some of the things that stand as barriers to us, you know, engaging ourselves in some of these physical activities. I'm sure you've met a couple of patients over the years that you've probably spoken to and advised. So what are some of the excuses that they tend to give, and how do you handle it?
Yeah, number one is time. I don't have time. I don't have time to exercise. I don't have time to work out. Now, see how I handle it. One of the first things I said as we started is you just need 30 minutes in a day. So people wake up and they do prayer 1 hour, which is good. You know, they prepare breakfast, maybe another 1 hour. They shower 30 minutes and all that. You can find 30 minutes within this whole time you're spending to prepare to go out. You know, you can find time to do 30 minutes of burning calories. You know, the other day we have I have this person that lives with us. I woke up the other day, I was still in the room because I had started leave, still in the room thinking of what to do with myself that day. And then this person walked past the window. And then again, and again, and again, kept walking around the house. At a point, I was like, what did you see in your dream? and she said, I was trying to meet up with my target. I was like, wow. And she did this before getting ready to go out of the house. So it can be in your compound, you know, walk around it as many times as possible. Some people have treadmills. And majority of the people that complain are actually the people that can afford the treadmills. You know, some people have all the physiotherapy machines, like the cycle, the stationary cycle, because these are exercises that exercise the whole body. You know, swimming is one of the most wonderful exercises. Because for those who have arthritis, for example, who will tell you, I can't jog, I can't run, my weight is much, and then it hurts my knee. If they swim, the knees are not carrying any load, but then they are exercising. Cycling is another thing. It's not carrying any load, but then they are exercising. So for those who talk about time, this is what I tell them: 30 minutes in a day. And then some people who are obese and are trying to lose weight, and they complain that everything I do is not working. It's not working. So I give up, you know. I had a classmate who tried and tried and tried, and all of us were like, wow, 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 wow. Before we knew it, she relapsed.
Oh.
Because she gave up, she got tired of it, you know, because it's a lot of work actually. If it is not part of your life growing up,
it will be hard.
It is a lot of work. Now, for those who try to give up because they are not seeing significant change, what I tell them is, what you should be seeing is you're not increasing, you're not going negative. Maybe you weigh 100 today, and you keep making effort, and next week you check, and you weigh 99.9, and you're like, what is it? That is a significant progress.
Honestly.
It's a significant progress. You did not add. Something went out.
I agree.
So, which means whatever you did is working. You may either just increase what you're doing or keep at it because it is working. It is 0.01, but it's working. So I tell people, don't be discouraged by small gains, that you think that the gains are too tiny. Or sometimes you may even start and you discover that from 100, you've become 103 when you checked.
Really?
Yeah, it's possible that the fats are loosening up, the fluid are coming out, and it tends to increase your weight. No, don't give up. Continue. It is a crescendo before the decrescendo.
Okay.
You know,
Hope.
don't worry about it. So, consistency, persistence, and not giving up. And one last thing I want to drop before we leave this point is, nobody should make anybody feel emotionally threatened because of their body size or because of their sedentary life and all that. That doesn't help. When you feel bad about it, it's not good for even the results you want to get. You know, so you have to be confident in yourself, however you think you look. First
Absolutely.
of all, be confident in yourself, and then that's how you go get what you want. There are examples of people who have done it. You know, if it's not working, come back. Some people, my classmate used to say, the mom will say, I'm watching my weight for every food. When they bring shawarma, I say, Mommy, are you not watching your weight? So it's not every time.
Let's quickly go on this break before I ask my next question. Honestly, this is becoming really interesting. All right, viewers, I hope you're enjoying the conversation. Let's go on a quick break or return. The conversation continues. Stay with us.
To adopt technology for effective operations, pharmacists have advocated the adoption of technology in healthcare systems, especially in medicine accessibility, availability, and affordability. This, as they said, is to address the prevalence of substandard drugs in circulation, which not only pose serious health risks, but also undermine trust in the healthcare system. At the 5th Conference of West African Postgraduate College of Pharmacists, FCT Zone, consultant pharmacists underscored the importance of technological advancements such as blockchain, track and trace systems, and mobile applications to enhance drug authentication and traceability, thereby reducing the circulation of counterfeit drugs.
Technology is what's driving the world over, and even in the health sector. So pharmacy cannot be left out. There are several aspects of application, especially as it drives in the sense of availability, accessibility, and even affordability of medicines. So all these things, our stock management and a lot of other things require this digital technology. There is something, it has already started. All we need to do is to upscale it. So it's possible.
Digital technology can be deployed to, for the identification and for tracking and tracing of products. Like now, we apply digital technology to supply chain management, digitize the supply chain management for medicines. It is possible to track and trace products. And so we are able to recognize products that are not supposed to be in the supply chain. That means products that are fake, products that are falsified. And so from the manufacturers and up to the last mile where the consumer uses it, digital technology can be used to trace these products. And one of the technology is using AI embedded QR codes, which when the manufacturer uses in intelligent packaging of products, even the consumer, when he buys a product, can scan that QR code and then is able to get information about this product, whether it is part of that supply chain or not.
The representative of the Chief Medical Director, Federal Medical Center, Abuja, Professor Saad Ahmed, noted that the topic aligns with the 4th key priorities of the federal government in healthcare security.
The topic or the theme of this year's annual conference is very apt. Apt in the sense that it was in line with the 4th pillars of the Renew Hope agenda of the Federal Ministry of Health. If you recall, the 4th pillar is healthcare security for Nigerians, in which medicine is part of healthcare. You agree with me?
The acting FCT Zonal Coordinator, Pharmacist Hafsat Ahmed Abdullahi, and the Chairman Organizing Committee, Pharmacist Maimunatu Lawal Mohammed, called for collaboration between pharmacists, healthcare regulators, technology developers, and policy makers to implement innovative solutions and enforce stringent regulations.
Medicines generally, a lot of challenges now. So what informed the topic or the theme for this year's conference is because of the medicine insecurity that it's everywhere. So we needed to, come together, put our heads together and look at what are the challenges of this medicine insecurity and what are the opportunities and what can we do as consultant pharmacists, what can we do as fellows, to take care of those challenges. So especially using digital technology.
Times we advise our patients that when you want to get drug, and then you look out for that seal behind that you scratch, and then know if this drug is actually a genuine one or it's a fake one. So that's technology for you. Without technology, you wouldn't be able to do, because they're going to send it via your phone, and then you know how phone is right now. So that's one aspect. There are other aspects that you could also browse and know more about your drug.
The theme for the conference was Navigating Medicine Insecurity in the Age of Digital Technology, Challenges, Opportunities, and Role of the Consultant Pharmacists, served as a platform to advocate for technological solutions to combat counterfeit drugs and quackery in the country.
Still discussing benefits of physical activity on overall health with Dr. Alex Nnadozie. All right, before we went on that break, the scenario you painted, you said, for instance, some people wake up 1 hour, use 1 hour in the morning to pray, and they could make breakfast for an hour. So I'm thinking, the making of breakfast, it involves walking around the kitchen. You're probably not sitting down. Can that be categorized as exercise as well?
Yeah, it helps. It helps a lot. And then, assuming the person does not see it as stress, like they're making me cook this breakfast all the time, you are grumbling while you're making it and all that. Even though the body is going through a physical activity, it's helping the body. But exercise and physical activity should help you from head to toe. Okay, it should help your brain get good blood supply. It should help your mind rest, so that even if you go to work, you'll be more productive. So an exercise is something. That's why some people do the yoga thing. Sit down in one place. At that moment, the body is not even being exercised and all that, but the mind is being exercised, So that helps the body. But the physical activity should help you from head to toe. So that part of the breakfast you talked about is very important. Some people can even add dance to it while they are dicing onions or something. You can add dance to it. Some people put their earpiece and really try to enjoy themselves. Some people even in the shower, they exercise, which is very good. Dancing in the shower, have some music on, try to put everything together. It works perfectly. That works very well as well.
I'm trying to justify the fact that I enjoy the kitchen. I mean, I've not been out for a while because of my kid, but I enjoy the kitchen, and I try to move around a lot, and I spend like most of my time in the kitchen if I'm not working. So I'm trying to justify if I'm living the exact kind of lifestyle, at least maybe because of somebody out there, maybe someone out there who is thinking, is this, or because I also have friends that believe that prayer work also helps them, handle the exercise part. Does that justify? Yes. Walking and praying. Okay.
Yeah, let me start from your kitchen work, your kitchen experience.
Yes.
Now, you can even modify it. You can touch it up now. You can be playing your best kind of music.
Okay.
you can be dancing to it. If you're not the type that sees the cooking in the kitchen as stress,
Yes.
you see that some people enjoy cooking.
Yes, I do.
So you can add every other fun to it, you know, so that you really exercise yourself. So you're really happy with what you're doing. Now, if I grumble into the kitchen, you know, as I'm just grumbling,
I'm just doing it for doing's sake.
I cut 2 things, I put 3 in the mouth, I do this, I do that. I'm adding to the problem. So, but you can put an exercise into
But it's hard to cook and
you're
not taste, you know.
Now, I'm not saying not taste,
Okay.
but you're not exercising, you're not building anything. Your mind is negative, and you're just adding calories into the body. You know, I cook too, so I know what I'm talking about. So you can add exercise to your kitchen routine. You can put your music, you can dance to it. I could remember when our first baby was born, we put her in the stroller, and whenever she wants to be crying, I keep her on one side and I stand in front of her and I'm dancing. I'm doing whatever, you know, all the exercise I want to do for the day, I want to do it in front of her, and then she's just watching. You know, she's captivated. At least she's not crying and I'm exercising.
Yeah.
It's not the exercise routine
win-win.
I want to do, but let me just do this one, you know, and I was doing it a lot. So at any point in time, you can add exercise to what you are doing, especially because you have a target for the day, for example, and need to do 30 minutes of sweating out today, and I've not yet done it. This is my opportunity to do it. So I'm so busy, but I can add it.
Okay, so I think maybe sometimes people do not understand part of the things that they stand to gain when they do those exercises regularly. So if you could please help us hamper on that more, so that at least it will stay at the back of people's mind that if I do this, I'll gain this. Because sometimes I think humans, if we stand to gain nothing, we may not really do something. So maybe if we understand part of the benefits, we'll be able to inculcate it into our lifestyle.
Okay, so I will start from, like I said, head to toe.
Yes.
You know, and I will be speaking from experience in some of the things I will be saying now.
Sure.
Because I'm an exercise person. And let me start from the brain. What exercise does to your brain. Now, I wasn't the very, very reading type in medical school. I was much of an exercise person. Now, of course, you know, medical students have to read a lot. I wasn't that good at reading a lot, but I was good at succeeding. Now, I go to exercise and people are reading. By the time I'm done exercising, my brain is open. I didn't realize this until I started seeing the results.
Wow.
When I come to read, what you were probably trying to grasp in the whole 5 hours you were reading, I could do it in 30 minutes to 1 hour.
Wow.
And it was like magic. It was working for me. And I was excelling really well. And I was exercising a lot. Even exam season, finish this paper, tomorrow there's no paper, I'm in the field. I'm doing one exercise or the other. And when I come back to now do the revision before the next paper, it works. So exercise does that to your brain. It perfuses your brain very well. What I mean by perfusion is the blood supply to the brain, you know, and blood carries every nutrient every part of the body needs. So the brain is getting enough nutrients, you know, the brain is well stuffed, you know, well hydrated, everything.
We're missing out if we've not been exercising,
yeah, not been
obviously.
Exercising.
Okay.
It releases hormones, you know, dopamine, all the things the body, the brain needs to be out of the negatives, you know, because if you look at this country, you may have a lot of negative that will depress you, you know. And my pathology professor then would tell us that if you start out with a good brain, you probably end with a good one. You start with a bad brain, you're ending with a bad one. So if your brain is well exercised, you know, which includes other things that involve exercising the brain, like reading, playing games, and all those things help the brain as well, not just the physical one.
Yes.
Now, if you have a good brain as a young person, your brain might last with you. You get old and still be very, very good upstairs, you know. But your brain didn't do a lot of work, didn't get enough blood and all that when you're young. You discover that before you are whatever age, they start saying you're having some dementia, you're having some this or that. So exercise helps the brain. Okay, now you come down to the chest, where you have the heart and the lungs. Now, there are muscles that help the heart pump and muscles that help the lungs contract and open up for oxygen to come in, squeeze out oxygen and all that. Exercise helps the capacity of your lungs to expand, you know, and to contract, you know, because you're exercising a lot. When you exercise, you're breathing, your lung has serious good capacity. So that all those airway obstructive diseases, as one is getting older, with a life of exercise, you tend to run away from them. Then you have a good heart. I talked about the pulse of an athlete.
Yes.
when your heart is pumping. It's just like those who go to the gym now, they are lifting weights. The biceps are big because they are lifting weights. It is from exercising. So if they punch you, you fall far. Now, if the heart is exercising, the heart muscles are stronger to pump the blood for longer. So that all the restrictive myopathies, all the things that disturb the heart as a result of one thing or the other, you tend to run away from them because your heart is good. That goes with the blood vessels as well. All the things that will clog the blood vessels and be giving you hypertension unduly and all the other metabolic diseases, you are free from them because you're living a life of exercise. You know, then you come to the tummy area. One of the worst things that come with sedentary life is to have truncal obesity, when you deposit fat around your tummy. You know, in this part of the world, people see it as a sign of affluence. Enjoyment. When in Igbo they will say, the tummy is not scared, and that's why it's staying in front. Okay. You know, so we think it's a sign of affluence, but it's really, there is a fat apron, you know, like an apron. There's a fat apron inside our tummy we call the greater omentum. Okay. You know, it's like an apron. It helps a lot. It helps fight things. Even it helps us a lot. Now, when someone has this truncal obesity, the greater omentum gathers too much fat. Too much fat. It is not good for anyone. It is even worse for us that operate on patients. When you open up somebody with too much fat there, it makes surgery difficult. It makes recovery difficult. Everything difficult. You know. So when people are looking for flat tummy, it's not for any beauty or whatever. It is what it is meant to be, actually. You know, free that place. Let the muscles stay on their own. You know, there should be fat. There are always fat under the skin because the fats have their role, you know, but not too much. So you avoid that truncal obesity, which is related to a lot of metabolic diseases, truncal obesity, when you exercise. Then you go down. Your sexual health, for a man or a woman, exercise helps you because blood is pumped very well. Your heart is strong, so you can last in whatever you should do in your sexual health, you know. And all the organs, the male and female organ, get well perfumed, get good blood supply. So everything is just as it should be, as naturally as it should be. But fats can deposit in the ovaries of a woman and displace the real ovarian cells, the real cells that should produce the egg that will make a baby. Fats can take over everywhere. You can have too much cysts in the ovaries. You can have all these issues that come with obesity. So it helps you, exercise helps you protect all those areas, as you know, your sexual health. Then you go to your lower limbs. Of course, you're strong. I traveled one time and I saw to Europe and I saw old people, very old people. You know, they have more old people than we do. They come out. I'm looking for Uber to take me to my destination. And I'm seeing these people walking. Oh my. Old people, long distances. Everybody is wearing sneakers.
And they're trekking.
And trekking. And I'm like, when I got back here, I tried to do it.
People will look at it like...
Our roads are not designed for us to even trek. You know, everywhere is bumpy. When people are giving contracts to do the roads, they don't look at the sidewalk.
And there's really no pedestrian lane.
Yeah, nothing for bicycle, nothing for you to walk and all that. So you walk, you get ankle injuries if you try to trek on our roads like that. Maybe except some of you who live in Maitama and Asokolo and all these places. But the rest of us, we don't have good environments to trek like they have in some of these countries. So the power in the lower limbs, at old age, you are still able to balance, you're still able to walk, you know, instead of waddling gait at that age. When you stand on one leg, you are shaking and all that. So exercise gives you a beautiful life, if you ask me.
Honestly, learning this now, I think it would prompt somebody, it would even prompt me to do more. Maybe I'll add the dancing like you just advised. I think it will prompt somebody to want to do more when it comes to their exercises. But are there specific exercises that you recommend for specific people? Maybe, I know you've touched on sports for children. I mean, when it comes to other kinds of people like the older, the senior citizens, and maybe the likes of the rest of us.
Yeah. That is very important. I had a patient who went to the gym and got their back pain complicated.
Wow.
You know, because it is important for some of these gyms to be manned by a trained physiotherapist, you know, because they would know what is best for what age group or what have you, or because they will take your history, first of all, know the kind of life you've led to know what can be done for you. So I would advise that those older people who are not used to flexible exercise when they were growing up, should avoid those exercises that will bend their backs a lot, because it can give you spondylosis and even make things worse for you. So that the physical therapist will guide you on the kind of exercise you will do if you are going to the gym. Or if in your house, you can do your normal lying down and do some attempting to sit up or lift lower limbs up, you know, to help your tummy, you know, lift lower limbs up, help your tummy. Get a pillow, put on your back to stretch the back, you know, do this, and then do your normal walking, your normal brisk walking, you know, normal trekking, you know, jogging if your knees are good. If you have the stationary cycle at home, cycle, or you have a bicycle, you ride bicycles, or if you're already good at swimming, swimming is good for you anytime, any day, no matter what age group you are.
It works the entire body.
Yes, swimming is beautiful. So these are the things I will advise. And before you hit the gym, always get advice of an expert. If you don't have a physical therapist there, maybe you should talk to your doctor that they are making me do all this in the gym. Is it right? So that they don't worsen your condition in an attempt for you to get physically fit. You know, and for people who are very heavy, you don't have to be jogging, because your knees will hurt. You will, in fact, you will destroy your knees, because the weight is a lot. As you run, you jump, you land on it. There's so much weight is landing on it. Okay, you might want to reduce that whole weight by other means before you get jogging involved in your exercise. So you can cycle, you can swim, you know, you can do upper body exercises that do not involve the knee. When you get that desired weight you're looking for, then you can bring jogging into the matter. But once you are heavy, don't disturb the knees by trying to jump and all that. Do basketball, even do the badminton we do and all that. It might not be that good for you.
Okay, so what about our senior citizens, our parents? What do they do?
For our parents, there's a particular lifestyle they've led to where they are. Those who are 70, 80, and 90, like my father is, you may not want to introduce anything new for these people, because their backs, for example, are no longer flexible. Taking it to a direction they are not used to can break something.
Sure.
Even their hips and all that. So you want to find out what they are doing that works for them, and they have to continue on that.
Thank you so much. Your final advice to our viewers as we close the show today.
Viewers, please get your children to love sports. Now, those of us who are always looking for sports, we are not mad. We know what we're doing. Get your children to love sport, and you have nothing to worry about with their exercise life in the future. You thank me later.
Definitely. I'm even thanking you from now. Thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate you, and we look forward to having you again.
My pleasure.
All right, viewers, I'm sure you've learned a thing or two. In fact, this has really been mind-blowing. I hope you continue to exercise at least 150 minutes in a week. That's the least you could do. Thank you so much. I am Olamide Al-Hassan, and I'll see you again later. Bye.